there and try these things and go there and do it, for yourself, I don't know how you're ever going to get it, because it's just too intense. There's no way. If I was to get into all these side subjects, we couldn't stay focused. The esoteric teaching primal scream session video. That would just confuse people. And we don't want to confuse people. We want to clear up your confusions. So at some point it's like, I don't know what to tell you. You have to get out there and explore. You have to live and try things and get there somehow or other.
There's a very good analogy for that.
What's that?
When in extreme sports, it's very, very frequently seen, actually. And I remember bungee jumping, when it came out, everybody was like, whoa, bungee jump. And then, have you done it? Have you done it? And like that, it was very like social or something. And then everybody who did it said, oh, you have to do it. Even if it was horrible, they say, oh, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And even if they tried to explain what it felt, like bungee jumping, parachute, or any of those, it's like, no, I can't explain. You have to go through it.
Yeah.
And then the persons who were curious enough, then they would say, okay, let me try it.
Yeah.
And then they would try it. It was horrible. And then, okay, I'll tell everyone else. But in that case, I think that's the same principle, at least. That you do something that's like beyond of like what you normally do, and it's like freaky, and you experience that, and because that's not spiritual, it tends to be more painful, more like
yeah.
But that same principle, when applied to trusting someone that you really can trust, like Krishna, then it's very pleasurable. I remember.
That's a good point.
I remember 2 weeks ago I was chanting my usual set of rounds, and it was very hard, actually. Suddenly I felt like I was in the middle of nowhere, completely pitch dark, like really like black. And usually I think, oh well, this world is pathetic, but I mean it's not that pathetic. I mean, when I had that suddenly just chanting, and it was like, suddenly I was in this space where everything was black, like dead, dark. And I said, oh boy, this is darkness. But immediately, because I was chanting the holy name, I could immediately focus in Radha Krishna. And it was like so nice, like, I have something that I can hold on to, Even if I'm in the middle of this darkness, I have this thing to hold on to.
Yeah.
And this is the same. If you're going to lose your mind,
walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil.
I mean, it's really bad. So when you have something to hold on to and you lose your mind, it's okay, because you have Krishna.
Yes. That's the point. There was a beautiful description of this in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that when the inhabitants of Vrindavan met Krishna at the solar eclipse sacrifice after the Battle of Kurukshetra, they had not seen Krishna in 108 years. And the whole time they were like mad with separation. Mad, I mean nuts. Is described, you can read some of the descriptions and they're just pathetic. It's just like, Anyway, so then they saw Krishna again after all that time. And of course he hadn't changed at all. So then it was time for everyone to leave and go back to, wherever they came from. Like Krishna was going back to Dvarka with the Yadus, and the inhabitants of Vrindavan were going back to Braja. And it's described there was this very tearful farewell scene. and that the inhabitants of Vrindavan all bowed down at Krishna's lotus feet. And their minds became fixed at Krishna's lotus feet. And then they went back to Vrindavan, but their minds stayed at Krishna's lotus feet.
They embraced Krishna within their hearts.
Yes, right. So they went back to Vrindavan without their minds. It's the purport. Yeah. So in that way, we should be able to, give up our mind to Krishna and trust that Krishna is going to take care of us. See, remember the function of the mind is an early warning system to guard us against being hurt in the material world. This material world is all full of dangers and difficulties, and so the mind is there to warn us that, oh, this resembles something that happened before when we experienced pain. See, that's how the mind works. It works by association. So the mind is not logical, actually. The mind is associative. So when the mind sees something that resembles a previous traumatic experience, then it warns us. It says, no, don't do this, or don't go there. See? But in the spiritual world, we don't have a need for the mind because there's no pain in the spiritual world. There's only pleasure. See, there's no hate. There's only love. There's only ecstasy in the spiritual world. So when we're with Krishna, we have no need for the mind. We can easily let go of the mind, easily go beyond the mind when we're with Krishna. See, the mind, which is a necessary thing, just like if you go outside in this weather, you need a parka, you need a raincoat to protect you from the bad weather. If you don't have one, then you're going to suffer. But in the spiritual world, it's like there is no need for that protection. Everybody is eternal. Everyone is full of bliss, full of pleasure, always. So it's a whole different environment, and it runs by different rules. And what we do all the time, or we tend to do, is project our materialistic thinking on the spiritual world or on spiritual phenomena, and then we come to wrong conclusions or wrong speculations about, what it's like or whatever. So don't do that. Read our series on spiritual logic in the Transontology section of the website, and hopefully that will help. What do we got? Nobody dares ask any more questions.
No question?
Okay. See. What is that? E? E? Sounds like E flat. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pralada Rada Daine. Hiranyakashipo Rakshaha. Nrsimho Hridaye Nrsimho Narasimhamadin Sharanam Kapade Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adhuta Shringam Lalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare